is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
Can it be October already? Can it be week 5 of the National Football League season? Can it be a Victory Monday at the Star? Welcome to Talkin Cowboys. Bill Jones, Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips. Hello, everybody.
Bill Jones, how are you?
Doing very well. I had a late night last night on CBS 11.
Yeah, why were you guys so late?
Because CBS had the late game yesterday, and it pushed us back. Had Giants Saints 3:25, and so we go on late anyway at 10:30, and then if the game runs over, they show the end of the San Francisco Charger game after that, and so we got done at 11:50 last night. So
noon game, huh?
That's right. Yeah.
Noon game, and you're done at 11:50, right?
Yeah. Yeah, on a pregame show.
Exactly.
At the stadium, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
But it's great to be here.
I hope everybody wasn't like me. When you finished with the Cowboy stuff, I went to bed.
Well, the Cowboy stuff went all the way to the end of the newscast.
No, you started with golf and baseball, and
we don't start with golf.
No, I said you started doing it. Not
start
that
with
you start with it.
You don't start with Ryder Cup on a Cowboys.
No, that is
Sunday,
it.
do you?
On a Cowboys Sunday. I mean, even the Ryder Cup. Of course, the Ryder Cup, there was nothing to report on from an American perspective.
Right.
No, they got blown out again.
We gave
we
gave that 20 seconds at the very end.
That's
of it.
when I left.
Those
20 seconds.
You know how much time the Rangers got?
A mention.
We got a farewell to Adrian Beltre, and we got 15 seconds of the Rangers on. Man, I tell you what, the ratings were much better last night than they have been 2 of the first 3 weeks of the season, because if the Cowboys win, they'll stay up to midnight and watch you. Yeah. And they'll tune in to Talkin Cowboys.
Absolutely.
Too. All right, so what's the big takeaway from Sunday? Let's start with the junior member of the
the junior member.
And
is this the kids table? The height? It's higher than the kids table. I'm good.
And congratulations to your Aggies. You survived against the Hogs on Saturday.
They were meh, but thank you. Get above 500.
We won't get into Jimbo Fisher off the top
welcome
here.
to Alabama this week.
Yeah, good times, right? My takeaway, get that breakfast spoon out, man. Zeke ate some more and did it on a bad ankle and a sore knee, as he said. And if they were going to win this football game, they needed a game out of him like this one. And this, in my opinion, that's the best game I've seen him play as a Dallas Cowboy. When you factor in how banged up he was and how much he was limping in the locker room after the game with whatever was bothering him. It seemed to happen sometime in the first half. He missed a couple plays. But when you see what he did running the ball and especially receiving the ball, and I know we'll get into that, he just showed that he's a complete running back. And they leaned on him.
Anybody surprised?
No, but we haven't seen him that dominant yet this season, and a lot of it was opportunities. And, hey, look what happens when you get a 2-score lead in the second half. You can kind of lean on him a little bit. And sure, they had to lean on him in the last drive as well, too.
I mean, I heard it in his voice last week in the locker room. There was passion in his voice that I hadn't heard, and he was bound and determined to not only get his season on track, but get this team on track, I think.
Yeah, and Dak said the same thing, that when he called them up after their warm-ups, that he could tell the excitement in his voice. And he said on the post-game TV show that he basically told everybody this game's going to define our season. We're either going to be 1-3.
That's the attitude they needed to have going into that thing.
And if we win, we're 2-2, and things will be a lot better. I think they kind of played that way, listening to him.
It's not often the game week 4 of the season is the crossroads point of your season, but I think that was yesterday.
So if anybody thinks they want to dismiss that it didn't matter when he missed 6 games last year, just circle this performance.
Yeah, I tell you what, I love what Rob said, and I love what we saw with the offensive line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I thought that when you look at their ability to run block, to hats on hats, the tough running they got help from the wide receivers. Their tight ends actually helped in the running game. this week. That's something that they had to do. Everybody, the buzzword was about wrinkles. It really was more about getting back to what they do well. This team, we've talked about it a bunch. They're not the Rams, but they have an identity. When they run the football, they can be very difficult to defend. They put their quarterback in some situations, play action-wise, where it helped him. He made some quality throws. He missed a couple here and there, but overall, you take his stat line every day, the way he played. Mickey got his protection yesterday to throw the football. I think that was a real big plus. The thing that it was a little bit disheartening to me. Another positive for me was the defense. I didn't think they could get pressure on this guy. I really didn't. It came early with a slot blitz on third down. It kind of affected the way through. They were able to take advantage of T.J. Lang being out of the game at guard. I think that kind of messed the Lions up in a couple different ways. My biggest concern, though, was the pass defense, because I thought that was going to be a strength of this team. In the first 3 weeks, it really was the strength of this team, but they caught a different animal yesterday. Those 3 wide receivers are outstanding. The quarterback's outstanding for the Lions. I worried that was going to be a repeat of the Green Bay game, where all of a sudden, they get the ball at the end and they just kind of drive it on you and score with 10 seconds left. But maybe a breakdown in the secondary helps you, get 2:17 on the clock so you can finish that thing out. But,
a lot of time, right?
Yeah. I just, it's a tough matchup when you deal with those guys. We knew it going in that those receivers are capable of doing that. We're doing radio over here. You okay?
Checking your voicemail?
I'm trying to turn the volume down. Is it okay?
Well, maybe we do that before we walk in.
Well, I walked in right when it was ready to start.
We waited for you again, but anyway, it's that's the things that if you look at the game, like I said, the things offensively fell for them the right way, and that's good. I mean, that they did what they had to do defensively. They've got some work in that secondary to kind of figure some things out.
What'd you think?
I thought it was about execution, and don't make mistakes. Like, make sure you turn off your phone before you come in.
Absolutely.
But there's a narrative out there that they fed Zeke. Well, they fed Zeke last week too, but they didn't execute last week. Zeke stepped out of bounds on a 31-yard touchdown pass. He dropped a third down pass. He fumbled at a long run. But if you look at through 3 quarters of this week's game, Zeke had 20 touches, and the Cowboys had a 10-point lead.
I'll bet you anything.
Through 3 quarters of last week's game, they had tried to get the ball to him 18 times. Now there were miscues on 3 of those, and they were trailing by 18 points, and so that's why he didn't wind up with the 30 touches that he had yesterday.
I'll bet you anything in Detroit right now, the talking heads are saying, Kerryon Johnson only got 9 carries for 55 yards. He averaged 6 yards a carry. They're behind in the second half.
Right.
And that's – Zeke said it. To your point, Brian, we got back to our old self. And a lot of that is building a lead and wearing a defense down over 4 quarters.
How about 2 penalties for 20 yards? Well, we saw on that one drive, I guess it was maybe in the third quarter, where there was a 10-yard penalty. It may have been their first penalty of the game. They had no penalties at halftime.
They had one on special teams.
Okay, so it was on offense. They had 1 penalty. They were driving down the field, and it was around the 30-yard line. They had a hold or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Zeke had a block in the back.
That was it. There was a block in the back, and it set them back.
I heard Mickey across the press box. He didn't love that one.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to block them, knock the hell out of them. Don't just have your hands there and nothing happens.
But that was an illustration of one mistake on the drive, even if it wasn't a legitimate penalty, whatever. One mistake sets this team back, and they can't overcome the one mistake. That's what happened in Seattle last week. That's what happened in week 1 against Carolina. You get one mistake on a drive, you get behind the chains, and you can't overcome that. This team right now doesn't have the ability to overcome that. Yesterday, though, throughout the game, they were on point, and they did not make those mistakes. And the result was they had a 10-point lead going into the 4th quarter, and they almost blew that.
Needed every bit of that.
Exactly.
And they gave Detroit credit for 3 sacks, not 5 or 6 like they did when they got beat. And one sack, he was running, and he didn't get out of bounds, and they gave him a sack for a 1-yard loss instead of throwing the ball away.
Right.
So really 2 sacks.
Really, well, the other one, too, he just turned his back.
Right.
And should have just gotten rid of the ball.
Right.
Just gotten out
He
of
tried
dodge.
to
Kicked him out of field goal range.
Yeah.
He tried to
potentially,
spin
yeah.
out when he should have just
And
thrown
that was
it away.
and that was the play with the drive with the penalty there.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he only got hit 4 times instead of 10 times. So now you got time for routes to develop down the field. And it's like, oh, they threw deep to Michael Gallup. Well, they've thrown deep to him before, right? You know, a lot of times they either didn't hit or he didn't catch it. And this was a pretty contested catch he made. As a matter of fact, he bobbled it like twice before he pulled it in. So when you make plays and you execute, when you protect the quarterback, then you can get 255 yards passing. But when the guy's on his butt the whole game, it's really hard to throw for 200 yards.
But if you want to talk about wrinkles, they did take some deep shots early in the game, and some of that is
No
because
huddle.
Yeah, no huddle.
No
is
huddle
good.
was more of
We've been
the
saying that for a couple of weeks here that they needed to go tempo.
that was more of the wrinkle than anything else. They
Tempo,
went
pace.
no huddle real quick. They didn't wait around.
And as you wrote about, I mean, try to wear down those big Detroit linemen, right?
Try
Over the
to
course of a game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was if the Cowboys would have never substituted, they could have played at a lot faster pace. But you saw clearly Jeff Wright's the umpire. He has to stand over the ball until the substitutions are made, and so that's where I mean, if Cowboys would have just kept the same 11 personnel maybe on the field the whole time, boom, they could have played a lot faster in that game though. So. Hats off to to the coaching staff. They did have I thought it had a really good game plan. But like everything everybody's mentioned here, the execution, the blocking, the quarterback, everything about that game offensively was how this team is capable of playing. That's how they're going to have to win games. They're going to have to win games running the football, play action. The receivers making plays when they can make plays, take some shots down the field, throw a screen pass for a big play. The linemen did a heck of a job of getting out in space, not only on the screen plays and stuff, but running the football, pulling tackles, pulling guards, pulling centers. If you're going to play 4-man front against this team, get ready for number 70 to be on the edge blocking for you. Be ready for number 52 being on the edge blocking. Those are things that are all very, very positive. And if you're able to get teams to spread out and have to defend that, now things are going to happen up for you inside. They can't crowd things up in there, and you can maybe take a few more of those opportunities to run the ball inside like what they were doing with the read option stuff.
And number 73 getting out there and blocking too. Like I know we call him Jumbo Joe, and he's jolly
Second
and all
level
that stuff.
blocking some stuff for him yesterday.
Yeah. And God, he was down there at the end zone helping free Zeke to get into the end zone on that screen
All
pass.
three offensive linemen on their feet blocking, and that's key. When you get guys outside and you get linemen, usually they'll cut and on the ground, and it looks bad. But all three of their offensive linemen were up and running down the field as that play was developing.
Zach Martin said Joe Looney's the fastest offensive lineman on the team. He said, don't go to sleep on Joe's speed.
He did.
But he was down there,
He
right?
was running. He was running quickly.
I got to look up Joe Looney's speed.
Well,
I'm
I'm sure Zach's never put a stopwatch to him.
We're gonna ask him. We're gonna ask him Tuesday.
To your point though, Brian, about the defense, and I don't think there shouldn't have been anyone in the stadium that was surprised when the Cowboys go up. They drive 85 yards in 16 plays, take 8 minutes off the clock.
I wouldn't.
And then they have to settle for a field goal and a 6-point lead.
Crush
There
me.
should have been nobody in that stadium or watching on TV surprised that Matthew Stafford was able to drive 75 yards in 6 plays for the touchdown. And for that matter, even the drive before that. And that's where I've been concerned about the Dallas defense from the beginning of the season. From that standpoint, when you go up against a potent offense that has to score,
Can you stop them?
Can you stop them? And because that was not the case against Carolina or Seattle, because of what was happening with Dallas offensively. Once those teams got leads, they shut it down offensively.
Right.
And so Matthew Stafford was able, and also to your point, I mean, the saving grace for the Cowboys is that they scored fast enough that they left enough time on the clock for them to go
they
down
left
and
him
get a field goal.
217. Yeah, they left him
That's right.
217. I think the thing that was the most disheartening to me, with offensively, if you want to say it, is the fact that the Austin drop cost them 4 points, and then also too, though, you look at the not the pass. You can say what you want. The pass to Rico Gathers, whether it was well designed or poorly thrown or whatever. You can take whatever opinion you want there, but that was another opportunity right there. I mean, back in the day, and I just again had these flashbacks of Green Bay in my head last year, where you leave a quality quarterback enough time, you're not covering their receivers all that well. Yeah, you're right. You knew going in this was going to be, I just worried about them driving the football and taking the complete time off the clock, and then you get in back with 10 seconds left with no shot to win the game.
Right.
And you'd have looked at that series and said, okay, run the ball 4 times there. I mean, I admire the coaches for going for it on 4th and 1. I learned something yesterday that you have to recover the fumble if it goes into the end zone. I didn't know that rule, but so
I think it's on 4th down.
4th down only. Well, one of the officials,
or if you get inside
the 2-minute rule.
2-minute rule.
I knew that rule.
Yeah.
But when one official signaled touchdown and then the other 3 went running in like, no, well, wait a minute, bro. No, you don't know the rule, and you're an official. But, but I think that to me that I give Garrett credit for going for it that particular time. I thought that was the absolute right thing to do, even though his defense was playing with a little bit of peril. But, man,
we also learned that Blake Jarwin can make a catch in an NFL game.
That is true.
Yep.
That is true. But the thing about it is I just wish they would have just hammered that thing in. Beautiful drive, all the plays, the yardage, the way they were kind of mixing and matching it. And you just think just finish this thing by hammering it in 4 times, but you get a little cute with it, and then you have to kick a field goal, and it puts you in harm's way.
First and goal at the 6.
That would have been.
And they ended up with that field
Okay, on
goal.
the pass to Swain, that was way too high. It
Got to throw it earlier.
Yeah, it looked like Swain was open.
He was open. You got to throw it earlier. And he did it on the waggle to start the game. He threw the ball. There's sometimes where Dak he'll drift and drift and drift, and we're all in the box yelling,
"Now's the time.
Throw it!" And but yesterday, what did he do? He got Swain. They sold it hard, play action left, and it drew everybody. Swain just pivoted, went up the sidelines. But he got him the ball quick, and then then you got some blocks down the field. If he throws the ball on that play the way it was designed on the goal line, he's got him. He's just got to go with it. He just can't keep drifting. You run out of space.
So I'm wondering if he knew he was late with it, and it can be a dangerous pass.
Oh, that thing could have been clanging around in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so he tried to put it high, where Swain was the only one who could get it, and it just sailed.
Well, he had somebody behind Swain too.
That's the other thing. Gallup was
behind him, and I'm thinking, oh, geez, don't let it hit Gallup.
You know what? That play was destined to fail because they had to call timeout before they ran that play, and I saw him go and tap Tavon Austin on the helmet,
like he didn't know where the line
was, because he was lined up like the
shovel play,
slot back or whatever they used to call those guys, and then he lined up there again, and I said, oh, they're going to give it to him on a round, and they didn't.
Rob
all that said, like Brian said, 1st and goal at the 6. Zeke averaged 6 yards a carry.
Just run it 4 times.
This is just me.
No, it's just me too. I hand it to him. They couldn't stop him all game.
I'm thinking every time you throw the ball, it's incomplete. The clock is not moving, and you did a hell of a job to get it to that point. Just keep the clock moving. Run it. Okay, it's another minute. Keep it. Run it again. It's another. Just don't leave them any time to do anything. And then if you score, now they're in harm's way. They can't come back and win that way.
Because you end up throwing it twice, right?
Yeah,
and there was 5:49 left.
Exactly.
If you had run, it would have been down to 350 probably.
Exactly.
And was Zeke, did he come off on that drive?
Well, he was getting spelled a little bit by Rod Smith.
Rod Smith came in for a -1.
Well, he took the first carry.
He ran on
first and goal at the 6. He ran for 2.
But I wonder if he was hobbled a little bit to where that might have played a role in their thinking that he didn't.
If I'm Gary Brown, I look at him and I'm like, bro, I need you right now. I need you to go in there and score me a touchdown. I've got to, you've got me to this point. Just please finish this thing off for me.
Yeah.
Although they only needed 2:22 to go down and score.
Oh, I know, but if you score the touchdown,
you put a little more pressure.
You put a little bit more pressure on them to have to make. Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's take our first break here. We want to take your phone calls as well, and we continue. And I want to find out what went wrong on that Golden Tate second touchdown when we come back on Talking Cowboys in a moment.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine being shipwrecked on a desert island, alone. Glass-like curls of surf pound the shore with Dr. Pepper-colored waves. Surrounded by desire, but you can't drink it because it's the ocean. Fish live in there. The only thing you want is Dr. Pepper, and you can't have it.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Welcome back to Talking Cowboys.
I got it. Crunch time. Cowboys come through in crunch time on Sunday. And
I knew that was going to be a crash.
Crunch time is where you got to stay cool. Nobody's better at keeping you cool under pressure, Brian, than Tommy John.
You know it.
Tommy John underwear has moisture-wicking antimicrobial fabrics to keep
There's
germs
that word.
and perspiration at bay, and I nailed it on the first try. That means no discomfort, no adjustment. Tommy John, no adjustment needed. Shop exclusive Cowboys underwear at TommyJohn.com/Cowboys for 20% off your first order. Good God, Mickey. That's TommyJohn.com/Cowboys.
What do you want?
That's my fault. I wanted this card that has the phone number.
Don't you know the phone number by now?
The phone number. Our toll-free call-in line, 888-855-2297.
What the hell's going on?
Yes, we're
some
back
napkins?
here on Talking Cowboys.
Here, you got some right there.
Poor Mickey.
Clean up your mess.
Poor Mickey.
All my good notes right there.
All spilled on his legal pad.
Oh, the wheels are off.
Good thing they won, huh?
Yeah. Boy, we've got that was a 15-yard penalty. We've got first and 25 starting this segment. You know what? The Star District offers over 30 restaurants and retail spaces.
Please
at the
tell
Dallas
me, Bill.
Cowboys themed campus.
They all got
the
napkins.
perfect place to shop, dine, bring the whole family. For more info on all the Star has to offer, visit thestarinfrisco.com and make sure you're there on Tuesdays.
Thank you for doing
at
that.
Concrete Cowboy.
6 to 7 tomorrow night.
6 to 7 tomorrow night. Who will we be featuring?
I think I'm involved. I think Mickey, you might be involved. And I think Derek Eagleton's involved. And I don't know who the third party. Maybe
I'm off this week.
Yeah,
so maybe,
we'll see.
Maybe Hellman.
We'll see somebody. Yeah, it'll be a fiery group, no doubt about it.
And you got Derek Eagleton there, so you can get into a little Texas OU talk.
No, I'm not going to do that, Bill.
Oh, okay.
No all Texas right. OU talk today. It's a Cowboy Monday.
Tomorrow night.
It is. Yeah. Tomorrow night. Yeah. Tuesday night, 6 to 7, Concrete Cowboy in the Entertainment District at the Star in Frisco. All right.
I like it.
Okay, now, what happened on the Golden Tate second touchdown?
Handle this one, Mickey.
I think they had another busted coverage.
Well, clearly they had a busted coverage.
Chris Richard told you, right?
On the TV broadcast, Charles Davis was doing the game, and the blame was laid squarely on the shoulders of Anthony Brown.
That he didn't
get enough depth.
Yeah, but if you saw the way he played it, he was playing it underneath.
Yeah,
it wasn't like he was
to me like
scrambling.
he thought he had deep help.
Right, and he should have, because they were in a cover 3.
Right, there you go.
And Chidobe Awuzie, for some reason, bit on the guy in the slot.
Kenny Galladay was
it Galladay?
Yeah.
And there was
they
a safety
stacked
there.
the two there, Tate and Galladay
Right.
there, and Tate ran what basically was like a
wheel
route.
Yep.
And Galladay went towards the middle.
And Brown was supposed to get depth underneath and make sure if the throw was over there, it had to go over him.
Woods
so
was
it
the
was high.
deep safety in the middle. Is that right?
Yes. And so that's what should have happened. And Awuzie should have moved over. And I think you can tell by the body language of Chris Richard afterwards when they were on the bench, he was directing his ire kind of in Awuzie's direction, not the Anthony
Well, we
Brown.
should have with Frazier.
And I don't know if
I think it was Frazier. I think it was Frazier there,
was.
if I remember, because he got caught short. Yeah, it was Frazier. It wasn't
Frazier
Woods.
in the middle.
Woods had enough problems, but I mean, it was it was Frazier got caught.
Which, by the way, are we starting to develop a deal here with when Jeff Heath's on the field, they don't play very well defensively?
Oh, whoa.
When Jeff Heath is on the
Not
field?
on the field.
Oh, you said on the field.
Not on the field. Yeah.
I don't know if Jeff played one of his best games.
No, he
either.
missed a couple
He had a tough
tackles,
day.
and he ended up with a stinger on the shoulder. I thought he got a concussion.
Yeah,
So
hang on.
Do we not call that penalty when the running back lowers his head?
Just going to say that. That
Someone
helmet
said that
rule,
to me.
I mean, that includes the running back, right?
Yeah.
Lowering
It's
your head and
supposed to.
initiating contact.
And that was intent, right?
I just, both
on
those
the goal
rules,
line. I don't think they're going to call that. I just don't. I just don't think they're going to call it in that situation when a guy's trying to score. That's one of those things. I understand what you guys are saying, and matter of fact, Nate and I even talked about it in the studio when it happened. I said he lowered his head there, and Nate looked at me like, "Ain't he trying to score?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but
Yeah, I
the
guess
intent,
you're right,
I
but
guess
still.
it's the intent.
Yeah.
Is he trying to? But I don't know. I don't know the rules anymore. Matter of fact, the catch that was ruled a catch, I think Tate with the ball looked like it was moving. He really didn't have control.
Oh, we still don't know what a catch is.
But it was a catch.
Yeah,
And then
we still don't
I'm
know.
thinking, okay, that doesn't look like a catch, but okay, now it's a catch. All right, I get it. So yeah, I don't really know the rules.
Well, at least they got one of those right.
Yeah.
When the guy trapped the ball on the ground.
Well, that's true.
They challenged it. And the next one, his top hand came off the ball.
That's what I thought myself. Yeah. I mean, it looked like to me it was kind of moving around there. So I don't know. But, it's I will give Jeff Rice some credit. He got the intent of the rule for roughing the passer. He absolutely got it right because he was blowing the whistle. His hand was in the air, and the Lions defender clearly ran into the left shoulder and could have caused some problems for hitting Dak Prescott in the back that way. So good call on his part.
And it looked to me like the Lions defender knew that he had committed a foul
Yes.
as soon as he did it, the way he pulled back.
Heard the whistle.
Yep, that's right.
Yep. He had a chance, but he just didn't stop. So,
if they don't, in the defense, if they had just given up 17 points, don't give up that touchdown there, you would have said, okay, fine, right? Make them kick a field goal.
Yeah. Kerryon Johnson, for as good as he was, did you see his final numbers?
Yeah,
I was going to explain
but
that.
what was his long run?
32
First
yards.
play of the game.
32.
So he's
and
9
he had,
for 55.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
eight
he was
for
8 for 23.
Yeah. See, to me, that's where you look at this and you go, okay. And Blunt had 7 carries for 12 yards. I'll take that.
And that was the first play of the game, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The thing that worries me is, again, this secondary. And Bill, if that's what you're talking about, that it worries me that they allowed some of the plays that they did. And, it's not all – I mean, they clearly had a plan going in to go after Awuzie and go after Brown in this game.
Awuzie seemed like he was getting targeted constantly.
They
Just
never
going to his
threw
side
the
of
other
field.
way, did they?
Yeah.
Never did go the other way. And, and that's where you're going to have to sit there. And Awuzie is a tough guy mentally. He really, really is. And, he can take the punishment that coach is going to – that Chris Richard is going to coach him hard. But he could take it. He's a tough guy. He'll bounce back, that kind of stuff. But it's a little bit of concern. They played dime one time in the game yesterday, Mickey.
And he fell down.
They gave up a touchdown on it.
Fell down.
Everybody's like going, What about Jordan Lewis? Why don't you play Jordan Lewis? And then, see what happens there. And I'm not just picking on Jordan Lewis. I'm just saying, if you want to know overall, that's a tough team to have to defend. With their receivers had 262 yards and receptions. Yeah. Think about that. 15 catches as a group for 262 yards, I believe the number was at the end of the day.
That's a great trio of wide receivers.
A quarterback that could get it to him as well.
Yeah, and the Lewis play as Golden Tate comes out of his break, Lewis
off
slips
balance,
and then he jukes Jeff Heath down the sideline and makes a hell of a play, and
83 yards on 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And the guy slips and you have a busted coverage. Woozier wasn't like he was getting beat. He was there. The passes were perfect. And he couldn't get a hand on the ball.
See, that's what I'm saying. If you're in that position, you're like, man, just make a play here. But you're right. I mean, there was some tremendous adjusting catches there.
Well, I mean, what about on the other side? What could have been a touchdown pass to Tavon Austin. Darius Slay, one of the best corners in the league, is right there with the coverage, and it could have been completed.
Yeah, it should have been completed.
Right.
It was right in his hands.
Right, it was.
Except the other hand was in there grabbing his hand, too.
Cheeto had several plays like that where he is in great position, but it was like pinpoint
I guess you give him credit. You give him credit for throwing the ball, but man,
and I think you give Dak credit for putting that ball to Tavon like he did.
Yeah.
And the pass to Zeke went in crunch time, too. I mean, it was a perfect throw over the shoulder.
It was a Willie Mays catch.
It was.
It was.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Phil in Louisiana. You are on Talkin Cowboys. Hello, Phil.
Hey, Bill. I'm glad you're back because I've been waiting a while to call you back with another word of the day.
All right.
Today's word of the day is compendious.
Compendious.
Word of the day. Was that a thing?
It's a synonym for pithy, in honor of Brian.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I guess I'm trying to be called.
You have a question?
I'm lost, but go ahead.
Yeah, you got a question?
Yeah.
Or a comment would be good right now.
50, so, yeah. Look,
when did we get smart in Louisiana, by the way?
Well, I mean, when the water level's lowered,
Yeah, I went to school in Louisiana, so I can make that comment.
It must be in northern Louisiana.
All right, it must be.
But the word was compendious.
Bill.
Compendious.
Containing or presenting the essential facts of something in a comprehensive but concise way. I think that pretty much describes Brian Broaddus and his analysis of Cowboy games. But go ahead.
Or Talkin Cowboys.
You guys are covering just about everything I thought and on the game itself, but I guess I'm segueing into our guy, Earl Thomas. I lost a bit of respect for him yesterday when he did that flip job, and I guess this dovetails into my question about player contracts. I wanted to know where you guys were at on that. I mean, they're happy with the contracts when they sign them, but at some point they think, I'm going to say they, meaning that faction of player that will not play unless his contract's negotiated. And I know that takes into account maybe not a majority of players, but players like Earl and Le'Veon and some of these other guys that will sit out. I just wanted to know where you guys were at on stuff like that because, I mean, I know ownership, they want to renegotiate if they need help from a player for salary cap space, but when it comes time to negotiate a player wanting it, what's your guys' take on that?
All right, we appreciate the call, Phil, in Louisiana.
I don't know. Pete Carroll said it was a big stadium. He could have been pointing that
may
finger
not
at
have
anybody.
been directed towards the Seahawks sideline.
I don't know. That's one of those Brian.
Yeah, that's a moment.
Look, when you're a veteran player like that and you sign a nice contract like that, you've got to put some protection in that last year of the contract.
That's exactly right.
You got to look at.
All right, I'm looking at his contract. Here's his contract that he signed. 4 years. $40 million, signing bonus $9.5 million. His average salary was $10 million. Guaranteed at signing was $19.7 million. Okay, so he made in 2014, he was at $6.7 million. Well, 4.7 was his base. His base in 15 was 5.5. His base in 16 was $8 million. His base in 17 was $8.5 million, and his base in 18 was $8.5 million. If he did not want to go the distance on that contract, then his salary in that last year needed to be $17 million or whatever.
Right.
He needed to negotiate that at the beginning when he did the contract if he wanted to get out of the contract.
Or there had to be some option in there.
That was a very club-friendly contract on the backside of that to keep him for the duration. And Seahawks won in the contract deal there. I mean, basically.
Yeah, but they lost their safety to injury.
That's
too.
right.
And now they're just like the Cowboys.
And they lost their
2-2.
They lost their safety mentally.
Yeah.
Even in the offseason.
So,
so if he's a player that the club really covets and wants to keep on his team, you want to keep him happy too.
He will rehab somewhere else.
Yeah.
He will have his surgery
right.
and he will rehab somewhere in that area, and then he might even come back to Texas to rehab his stuff. But
the lesson learned for Earl Thomas is he should have taken care of this at the contract. When he signed the contract, his agent or whoever should have made sure that he had an out at the end of that contract.
Or what you need is a roster bonus in March.
Right.
That says, okay, if I'm here, cover yourself for the next year.
Yeah.
Make that bonus big enough that they've got to make a decision if they're keeping you. And if they want to keep you, then instead of paying that bonus, they'll renegotiate the contract and extend you.
Wow.
And that's what you have to do.
That's
he's got a vest on.
I mean, that's interesting.
You got to protect yourself.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because and I'm sure they looked at it as like, oh, this contract's going to finish when I'm 29, so I'll get another contract. Well, okay, but now you're going to be 30, and is everybody going to pay you? Now you're at the mercy of your rehab, and, does somebody want to trade for him for a 7th-round pick?
Well, he's got a situation, too, where it was a bone. It wasn't his knee or ligaments.
He was fortunate.
Yeah.
Right.
It was just a break that he can heal up and be ready. So that shouldn't affect him for free agency. I have a feeling, though, guys, in a few years we're going to see a big fight for guaranteed contracts. I think this is going to be a big holdup.
2021.
Yeah, I think so. I think that we will all probably need to be doing something else in our lives because this thing is not going to go forward with the way that it currently is. They're going to fight for their drug policy. They're going to fight for guaranteed contracts. They see what's going on in the NBA. They see what's going on in Major League Baseball. This is the only professional league that doesn't have guaranteed contracts. They haven't to a point. We've seen some guaranteed money with quarterbacks. That seems to be the one, Kirk Cousins
deal.
Got a guaranteed deal. But for everybody else, nah, this is not going to be the case.
See, and the problem is, it's easier to guarantee contracts when you have 15 guys on a roster and 25 guys on a roster than when you have 53 on the roster.
Right.
And now you're going to start with this status thing. Well, I guaranteed you this. Well, what about me? I'm not getting it.
Right.
So that causes a problem, especially
it's going to be a fight. Get ready.
With the level of injuries that happen in the NFL compared to the other sports.
Well, you mentioned Thomas. At this point, if you're Seattle, you let him go in free agency, and you get a 3rd-round compensatory pick or something like that back.
John made his bed.
So
John made his bed.
As long as he comes back and plays well.
Right.
Well, he'll sign with somebody.
He'll sign with somebody and get a big deal somewhere. I'm sure he would. They said it's a deal. It's a clean break, and he'll be back.
Was it on his shin or his ankle?
I don't know that.
Because I thought it was his Achilles the way
it was a non-displaced
I know it's not his
lower
Achilles,
leg
but
fracture.
Originally, that's the way it looked, the way they were treating it.
Yeah.
He'll get paid. I shouldn't say he'll get paid to his, probably what he's making. I mean, they're going to look at the market and say, okay, but he's going to get a decision where he would like to go play. I just believe somebody will take that opportunity to do that.
He just may not get $14 million a year.
Somebody brought up Seattle franchising him. I bet he'd rather retire at this point than be in that situation with Seattle next year. The way he has talked about and the way that unfolded yesterday with the bird, I mean, wow. That's not a good situation.
Okay, so what if the Cowboys had made that trade and then his first game with the Cowboys that happens? I mean, that's what happens.
Very reminiscent of Joey Galloway.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
Very reminiscent. I mean, I remember sitting in a hot, tired press box getting my ass kicked by the Philadelphia Eagles, and that guy's laying on the field, and then the report is he blew out his knee.
2 first-round
Talk
picks.
about throwing up in your mouth.
Was that the pickle juice game?
Yeah. They mauled our ass. They really, really did.
So maybe the Seattle Seahawks give him a finger back and say, we franchised you.
God.
Correct me if I'm wrong. And
Talk about ugly.
I was hearing some rumors and speculation. Again, I don't want to make this all about Earl Thomas talk, but Did somebody, and I need to ask somebody, maybe you guys know, did John Snyder come out and say he would take a second-round pick from anybody but Dallas?
I did not hear that. I've never seen John Snyder talk publicly about it.
Maybe there were some whispers.
Somebody brought up a second-round pick.
Dallas,
now it's a solid second-round pick.
Well, if Dallas,
I'm sure it was one of those Sunday morning reports.
If Kansas City wanted him for a 2, they would give him up. But Dallas had to go 2 and something else.
Oh, well, there was a Schefter story yesterday about what Mickey said. I mean, they still want a second-round pick for him.
Right, but the kicker was that if Dallas wanted the player, they were going to have to offer more than the 2, that Snyder was willing to take the 2 from anybody else but the Cowboys. That's what I was kind of hearing some whispers on.
Well, good.
So
now we might take a 6th.
Well, he's going to get a 3.
He's going to get a 6th now for an injured player.
Yeah.
All right,
Can you trade a guy if he's on IR?
I don't know.
I don't think you're allowed to trade an injured player, but we could sure look at the rules.
So Mickey's going to look that up during the break, and we'll be back with more of Talkin' Cowboys in just a moment.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
While a player can look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than specs and features as well. You got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. To experience one for yourself, visit your local Texas John Deere dealer or go to myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in 1 lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Want to use what we use? Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys and Talkin' Cowboys for sure. Get your Jack Black Playmaker 4JB faves plus a full-size lip balm for just $10 and free shipping at getjackblack.com. Use code Cowboys.
A couple of those words, it's like
was it Jack Blast? What do we open with?
It's like postseason baseball.
It's like
just outside,
just a bit outside.
I was thinking Mickey's reading this just like I would, just mess up 3 or 4 words as we go along.
Jack Blast.
That's why I thought it was Jack Blast.
It is. You get a blast from Jack Black.
There you go. I like it, Mickey. I like that.
I like Mickey's reads.
You know what? Mickey's reads are the best.
They are. Kaboo, Texas is coming May 10th through the 12th, and I'm not going to do the read because I've got it memorized now. May 10th through 12th at AT&T Stadium. It's Kaboo, Texas.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can get your tickets now, or your passes now, early bird passes at KabooTexas.com. That is spelled Kaaboo, KabooTexas.com.
Hoping Led Zeppelin shows up for this.
God, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. Kaboo Town. I'd be there.
Yeah.
All right. Kaboo. I said it right, didn't I?
Kaboo.
Almost Mickey'd there. It's kind of
I'm just anxious to find out when we find out.
You look like you're performing at Kaboo Town today.
Yeah.
That's right. You got a vest on.
That's right.
What are you and Dean Martin going to do a little show?
It's Vest Monday again.
Yeah.
Start spreading the news.
You know what he is? He is a vested veteran.
He is a vested veteran.
I wish I was. I'm a veteran.
With a guaranteed contract.
I wish I was.
I like that look there, Mickey.
Thank you.
He's one of the Rack Pack. Yeah. Vegas.
Al Martino.
Looks like he's...
Come see Dean Martin, Mickey Spagnola, Sammy Davis Jr.
Just need a martini right now. Can we get a martini at Concrete Cowboy tomorrow night?
I bet you can make you a really good one.
Come in dressed like that, they'll give you whatever you
wear
want.
your vest.
Yeah, they have.
In fact, is Nate there?
Oh, Nate's always there,
Okay.
sweating up a storm.
You've got to wear that with Nate there.
With Nate?
You remember how Nate used to get on everybody in the media and what they wore on the team chart?
Oh, you ever see him in the pregame or the postgame show? He dresses up nicely in the post.
Yeah, the glasses look too. That looked good last night.
Him and Kevin Gogan, he would be all over what the media would wear on the team charter.
Yeah. Poor Bill Swanbeck.
Yeah, Bill Swanbeck, who is a TV reporter for Channel 4. And who was it, Gogan or Nate that would get on him the
all
most?
Over him.
Did he have like a 1970s suit?
Well, he had these sport coats, and Nate
Rick Renner?
In the time of leisure suits.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And Nate would see it, and he goes, Swanee, go to the Salvation Army to get that coat. He would just kill him.
You'd see on the charter, you'd see Nate coming down the aisle, and I would just bury my head in a newspaper or something.
cover your outfit.
Who did he used to pick?
It was like my 1 month of law school where I just buried my head in the book, hoping I wouldn't get called on.
He used to pick on the guy that was the editor of Cowboys Weekly.
Ron Spain?
Ron Spain.
Yeah, because he was the most quiet, unassuming
He didn't say
person
anything,
in the world.
right? But if there were 15 stories in the weekly, Ron wrote 10 of them, right?
Uh-huh.
And so he'd come walking by, and Nate goes, "By Ron Spain." By Ron Spain.
Oh.
And you know what? Pam Oliver went to school with him.
Yeah.
At
Ron's Florida A&M.
No, with Nate.
Oh, yeah.
At Florida A&M.
We've heard this.
And Pam would talk about how he would sit at the fountain where everybody had to walk by during classes changing, and he would do the same thing there, just calling everybody out what they wore.
Love it. Funny. That is funny. All right, the best player on the field yesterday obviously was
Ezekiel Elliott.
Who was the best defensive player for the Cowboys yesterday?
Demarcus Lawrence.
Did you see his
3
line?
sacks.
Yeah.
8 tackles, 3 sacks.
Speaking of getting paid,
3 quarterback hits, 2 tackles for losses.
Plays the run well too.
That's where I was going. Like Brian was talking about how they stopped the run. He's a part of that. And only everybody wants to talk about his sack numbers, but that was a big part of what he did last year to get in the Pro Bowl. The guy is chasing down plays everywhere from all over the field, and he's a complete football player. And you're right, he's going to get paid. Keeps this up, he's going to get paid. What's he making this year? 17
million plus.
He's going to be just fine.
Yeah. Maybe you don't have a place at the end for Earl Thomas at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, Mickey will tell me that they could sign everybody, which he's probably right about that. But you know what? I'll give a shout out to not just one guy. I'll give a shout out to the linebackers as a group. When you look at what Van Der Esch, Smith, and I'll even throw Damian Wilson in there a little bit, because what did those guys do? They came up with, I want to say they came up with 17 tackles for the 3 of them.
It was 7 for Jalen, 6 for Van Der Esch,
my
and
math
4
right?
for Damian Wilson.
Okay, so with that being said, you were looking for how do you make up for Sean Lee's 11 tackles? You know, how do you make up for that? And I think those 3 guys did a really nice job. Jalen Smith, I give him a lot of credit. You know, the blitz, the way he was able to kind of fake the blitz and then show up on the blitz and attack the pocket and help with the sack. You know, again, I didn't think they were going to be able to get pressure on Matthew Stafford the way they did. I mean, his numbers were great, Matthew Stafford, but they were able to affect him in some of those throws. And I feel like, though, that they were looking for a reason. We were all like going, okay, how do you get by without Sean Lee? How do you get by without Sean Lee? That was going to be the biggest question mark. And if those linebackers can continue to play where it's 6, 7, 4, or 9, 8, 3, if they can continue to put numbers together where it makes up for Sean Lee like that with those tackles, this team will be all right until they get him back in the lineup.
Van Der Esch, he's instinctive. He's diagnoses plays, and he's got the physical tools to go finish plays and defeat blocks. Lawrence is credited with the only quarterback hits in the game.
Three of them.
Seems surprised. I thought Smith had one on the blitz.
You know what? They got around him and made him uncomfortable.
Sure. That was, 24 for 30 is still good numbers.
It is.
But I think it could have been a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah.
I think, and they did. There were some third downs. They were able to get around him and affect the way he threw the football, throw him over the top of him or sack him in the pocket. I mean, there was a couple times I thought when some sacks, they were going to be able to get the ball out of there, maybe create a turnover. But I think those numbers could have been a lot higher for Stafford if they didn't have the pressure that they had.
Gregory got some pressure early.
Yeah.
Brian mentioned Taco Charlton. I'm sorry, Tyrone Crawford getting pressure.
Yeah,
Taco had a tackle for loss. So, yeah, they were affecting him. And hey, you have David Irving eligible to come back this week. We'll see what kind of
need him.
See what kind of shape he's in. Yeah, because we don't know what's up with Antoine Woods, who left with a calf injury in the middle of the game.
And speaking of David Irving, so they will get a roster exemption for him, but he'll is allowed to practice, and then by Saturday they have to make a decision if they're going to put him on the 53 or not. And then if they don't, then by Tuesday he automatically goes on, and you're going to have to make
So they get a 1 week.
They it's almost like they'll automatically get it. They got to apply for it, but they'll get it. So 1 week exemption.
Do you have to? Well, if he's going to play Sunday, do you have to cut somebody
Saturday?
Saturday,
Saturday
you will. But you can go through the week of practice.
So they will not make a decision on him
until Saturday.
Probably until after Friday's practice.
Yeah. There'll be an email on Saturday that says that David Irving is,
if he's ready.
Right.
And, he hadn't pushed against him. You can do all the running you want. He hadn't pushed against anybody.
But they might be in such a bad shape
if Antoine can't go.
Yeah, because if you get him back, now he's going to play the 3. You hope that you maybe get Collins back. You heard anything on Collins, Mickey?
They said he didn't practice on Friday.
Right.
But he did some of the individual drills.
Okay.
So he didn't do enough to qualify practicing, but he was moving around pretty well.
Well, it'd be nice to have him, because what happens is you lost Woods, who's a 1. You lost a nose tackle there for probably a couple of weeks, and then you're thinking, okay, well, David Irving is really a 3 technique or an under tackle. You got Crawford, who's already kind of playing as the under tackle, not kind of, he's the starter at the under tackle right now. Where they're a little light is that 1 technique. So, they need to get Collins back. Reed, I thought Reed was okay in the game. I mean, he was active. It's clearly he hasn't worked with the other guys. I mean, in training camp he got some work with him, but the stunts and things that they need, how clean that needs to be, where he needs to be, where the other defensive end needs to be, that's stuff that they'll only get better with practice. But I think they're a little bit of there's some problems. They're going to need David Irving to be active, I think, this weekend against the Houston Texans.
Now, when they played Reed, he was playing 1 technique.
He was playing the 1, right.
And it does sound like David Irving is in better shape than he was OTAs when he,
looked like me.
Weight was not good. Yeah. No, you look great.
No, thanks.
He was not.
Don't lie.
He was not in the shape that they wanted him to be in, for sure.
So now Woods. Now this morning, Jason thought he and Heath, it was encouraging.
Okay. It sounded like I was hearing from people last night.
But it was a calf.
It was a calf, and he was probably going to miss some time. Now,
and he had
maybe
a
missing
groin going in.
Yeah,
Antoine Woods, yes.
Yeah, missing some time, might mean he doesn't practice all week, and let's see what happens at the end of the week. But, I wasn't. It was like, oh, no, they're going to need to do something. But that was last night, Mickey, and Coach talked this morning on 105.3. So,
but he also qualified with, okay, let's see how it is when they wake up today.
Yeah,
so right. And that was when he left yesterday.
Yeah, right. When you sleep on it, it gets worse. I can vouch for that.
And it was just a stinger for Heath.
Right.
Right.
I thought he was going in concussion protocol.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. If we were doing Talkin' Lions today, they would probably be talking about, well, why didn't we throw the ball more? I mean, if you look at after that 32-yard run by Kerryon Johnson to start the game, the Cowboys shut down their run game, is what we were talking about. And if you look at their first 2 possessions of the game, they were focused on running on the first possession. They wound up punting. They came out throwing on their second possession, but then they got into the Cowboys' end of the field at the 45, and it was Blunt for 3, Blunt for 1, and an incompletion punt. And then when they threw the ball, they had success against the Cowboys offense. But to y'all's point on Demarcus Lawrence and how big Demarcus Lawrence was as far as the pass defense is concerned, the one stop that they had in the second half, the first possession of the second half, was when Lawrence got a sack.
Right.
And the other 2 possessions that they had. And so also credit the Cowboys offense for helping out the Dallas defense for once this season. With the sustained drives they had in the second half. The Lions only had 3 possessions in the second half.
See, that was key to me, and that's why I want him to finish it off with a touchdown run, because I got greedy. If you're going to say you kill almost, how many, would the drive kill 8 minutes?
Yes. 8:37.
I was trying to kill 11 minutes is what I was trying to do. And it kind of played out that way. And then they got down there. I'm like, and I looked at Nate and I said, Nate, they got to run it 4 times here, don't they? And he's like, oh, absolutely. They're going to run it 4, and then you kind of start going in, what they were doing. And I'm like, and then the pass to Rico. And I'm thinking, is that really a high, is that a high caliber play right there? Is that the right play? And and it just, so many things bothered me. And again, I started having flashbacks to Green Bay.
Look, man,
I'm thinking all this guy needs is one drive, and one drive, and let him get in position, and he'll milk the clock down to nothing, and then you got nothing to work with.
If they had not won that game, they had not converted on that final drive. And look, Dak needs a lot of credit for the presence of mind he had on that last drive to pick up that ball. And
no question.
I mean, that was in some ways the play of the game right there.
Yes.
But if they hadn't won the game, that would have been the whole narrative. It would have been DEFCON 1 around here about the play calling situation down at the line of scrimmage, 6-yard line. Why didn't you hand the ball to Zeke? I mean, it would have been.
I know they wanted to run the best plays to score a touchdown. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think it entered their mind at all that if we keep running it and we get down to 3rd down or 4th down, whatever, we're going to have a decision to make if it's 4th and a half yard, do we kick the field goal or go for it? Okay. But if we do that, then the time is down so low that it's down to 2:30 left, and we're not going to have time with Stafford. Drives the length of the field.
I just feel like
you might be overthinking.
I think
that.
See, to me, the drive was a really good mix, of the running and how when you get down there. Yeah, they know you're going to hand the ball, but your line is coming off well. Your tight ends are actually getting some blocks. I'm taking my chances that guy is going to get 6 yards on 3 carries.
Well,
I'm taking my chance.
He got 2 on the first play, and so he just needed 4 yards on the next 2.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take my chance that that it's going to happen. But I'm not leaving Matthew Stafford any time to really work with. Or if you do leave him time, at least you have a big enough lead to where he can't. He's going to have to score. He's going to have to onside kick. He's all these things are instead of just making a 1-score game.
The one of the narratives from last week is how come we didn't run as much zone read? How come we didn't run zone read this week? Have we not heard that question this week?
They tried. There were some times where he handed it, and there he could have.
The zone read might have worked down there.
Sure, it could have. Sure, quarterback draw. We saw quarterback draw in Carolina down there. So
on that drive,
shovel pass, anything.
On that drive, they had a 3rd and 2. Zeke up the middle for 7.
Yeah.
They had a 3rd and 1. Zeke went off left tackle for 2 and a first down. And when they were at that 3rd and 2, I was sitting there, and they're at the 42. I said to myself, okay, run it twice.
Yeah.
42, if you don't get it, just run it again.
Keep running it.
Because it's you're in that no man's land.
Right.
Do I punt?
Right.
Frank Reich, or do I go for it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then bless his heart, he ices the kicker, and the guy misses it. He gets a second chance.
Oh, I didn't realize that happened too.
Yes.
Oh.
In case y'all missed it, Indianapolis, Frank Reich, they went for it in overtime. It was like a precious
27
little time.
seconds, I think I heard.
And so he goes for it on 4th and 4 at his own 43-yard line rather than punting it away in a tie game with 20 seconds left. And so the Texans stop it. They take over at the Indianapolis 43-yard line. They complete a 25-yard pass to Hopkins, got him down into field goal range. His chip shot, basically, 38-yarder or something like that. And so then Reich ices the kicker, and he misses the kick. Hold it. Timeout was called, so he gets a second chance and boots it through, and the Texans snap a 9-game losing streak, and that's your Cowboys' next opponent, Houston.
Yeah, Texans gave up 7 sacks in that game.
Did they really?
Gave up 7 sacks. As a matter of fact, they lead the league in sacks given up. I think they got 17 now. So the Hot Boys...
the Cowboys aren't far behind.
No.
They've given up 14, I think.
Yeah, but that's, again, here you are. You're dealing with a quarterback that played a little bit better this week.
Yep.
With Watson, but man, they got receivers again too.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get into all that coming here up in the next couple of days for sure.
Brought back memories of Switzer in Philadelphia.
Load left.
Load left. Bad day at the office.
Well, it was cold. They wanted to get off the field, you know.
It was windy too.
Yeah.
Right.
Golly.
Hey, it all ended well though, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
That's right. They won the Super Bowl that year.
By the grace of God.
That's a lot of heartache along the road to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yep.
That might have been the hardest Super Bowl ever won.
Yeah, that's right.
Not only to get there, but then to win it, too. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget. I've told the story, the scene in the coach's locker room afterwards. They were all strewn out on the floor. They weren't even sitting in their chairs. They were just on the floor against these benches, half undressed. And I said, it looked like a bunch of boat people that just landed. I mean, they were so relieved to have won. There was no celebration.
Yeah. Do you think it was the same scene in the Cowboys locker room yesterday after Brett Favre kicked the field goal?
I knew one thing. Nate and I were laughing about this because they showed the owner's box. So Jerry and them held up there, and I said, this decision affects that group right there.
All right, that's the question I had. Okay.
Yeah.
Before that kick, who had the biggest butterflies or lump in their stomach or wherever?
Couldn't drive a nail up their rear moment?
Was it the kicker?
Oh, no, it was that box.
The coach or the owner's box?
The owner's box.
Yeah.
The owner, Steven, all the owner's box, all those folks up there, they knew what was on the line.
Especially on the
heels
of Dan Bailey having a decent game on Thursday night for Minnesota.
I think the least amount of pressure was on the kicker.
Did you? See
I don't
what
know
he
about
said?
that one.
Did you see what he said afterwards, Jerry?
No.
He said, "I'm glad I wasn't trying to kick the field goal. I think that's as much pressure as you can put on." But some of it got left out. He was talking about how he had a lump in his stomach and his throat, and he said, "There's no way I could have made it."
Yeah.
Wow, that's the drama. It's just another Sunday in the National Football League.
He's 8 for 8 since that opening
I
week
tell you
miss.
what, he's also what they call a flatliner.
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to his interview afterwards, he's a lot like Dan Bailey.
Yeah.
I mean,
those kickers say, it's just 1 for 1 every time. That's a big kick.
But that's
a lot of pressure.
You go back and look at how relaxed he was on that kick.
Yeah,
I mean,
Garrett said he could have drilled it from 60 the way he booted it, but
he just his body language. When I saw the replay, I was like, wow, he just looks so relaxed. And then in his interviews afterwards, I said, well, there's a flatliner.
Well, there's
for you,
good,
which
and
is
there's
what you need to be when
well
you're a
played
kicker.
though. Game management at the end. I've always been critical of Garrett and this crew, but they got the ball over on the left hash.
That's
Obviously,
right.
Keith O'Quinn said, "Where do you want this football?" And he said, "Put it on that left hash."
We saw those kicks last week that were started right, and they had to draw right back in.
Yeah,
I mean, it was clear that the left hash is his hash.
Nice
the
job.
one he missed faded to the right.
Yeah. He hit it straight. That one he hit in Carolina went straight at the right upright, didn't curl. So,
All right, that does it for Talking Cowboys for this Victory Monday. We're back with more on Tuesday from the Star in Frisco.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?